Hi, my name is Dr. Erin Denil with Rejuvenate Life Chiropractic, and today I would like to discuss, more like have a conversation with the audience about where health comes from. So I want us to think about this. So this is going to be an autonomic nervous system chart, and this chart is going to show us where nerves come out. So in previous videos, I've talked a lot about nervous system disturbances. So what does that look like exactly? Well, a nervous system disturbance is going to be anything that gets in the way of information being transmitted from the brain down the spinal cord and out to its end tissue, organ, or system of the body, okay? Tissue, cell, etc. So I want us to think through some concepts here. As we are thinking about, let's say, the nerve that's coming out and going to the heart. Okay, let's just say that that nerve isn't working as well as it should. Now, believe it or not, it only takes pressure, the weight of a dime on a nerve, to decrease function by 60%. Okay, so think about this. We've got some sort of disturbance or pressure on a nerve. So if I'm having some disturbance or pressure somewhere from the pathway of brain out to the nerves that control the heart, will the heart work better, function better, or function worse without having that information coming in? Worse, right? The heart will function worse. What about, let's say, the same thing, and we go to the bladder? Let's just say the nerves that go to the bladder, okay, depends on which part of the nervous system, sympathetic, fight or flight, or parasympathetic, rest and digest. Let's say one of those nerves isn't working, then going to the bladder, we have that disturbance. Is it going to work better, function better, or function worse? It's going to function worse. Okay, let's just say we severed the nerve that was going to the heart. Is the heart going to function better, worse, or it's not going to function at all? It's not going to function at all. Now, why is that? It's not getting any information to tell it what to do. Nothing. It's like no power. If we don't put power to our phone and we have no battery, there's nothing that we can do because it's not getting any of that electrical signaling. Okay, our nerves work the same way. It's all about energy and electrical movement. Okay, so what do we think could be some of the reasons that we could have those disturbances? A lot of people would say something like, oh, the bone is out of place, it's putting pressure on a nerve. Other people may say, well, I was in some kind of accident, we actually had a severing of that nerve. All of these would be good answers, but anytime we are going to disturb the input coming in from the body up to the brain, or from the brain back down to the body, we're going to have a decreased function. The degree of the decreased function varies based on how long the condition has been there and how much disturbance that we would have. When a joint is not working properly, this is a plastic spine, please don't be grossed out by it, okay? It's just plastic, it is not a real bone, okay? Let's just say we have our spine, okay? Normal functioning spine, everything is moving, we're able to bend, twist, turn, pivot, all of those things in a normal function. Let's say we create a space where we lock it and those areas are immovable, okay? In this case, when an area is immovable, the area above it or below it is going to take on more pressure. When those spots are stuck and unable to move, we have lots of ligaments and muscles that connect them. Those ligaments and muscles aren't receiving any information from the sensory nerves or what's going on in our surroundings, so it doesn't have the information to signal to push back up towards that brain. When that happens, we don't know what response to send. The areas above or below are going to be taking on more work and are going to go, I don't understand what's going on here. Okay, so they become altered and affected as well. So chiropractors, what do? We don't just put these, bones back into place. That's not the objective. The objective is to remove those disturbances in any way in which we find it represented in the body. We want to restore joint motion and normal function to that area so the brain can receive the proper information. Once that brain receives the proper information, do you think that we would function better, function worse, or remain the same? We would function better. The more information we have from our external environment that's correct, the better we can adapt in something we call homeostasis. So to illustrate what I'm talking about, what I want you to do is take your finger. I want you to just move your finger nicely, okay, in a good circle. Feel how fluid that motion is, okay? The joint works well. We'd say this is functioning pretty well in most cases, right? Feels good, fluid, smooth. Now I want you to take that, I want you to turn your finger. So actually physically take it, turn it, put some torque on there. And now I want you to go through that same motion. Can your body do that motion as well? Go ahead and do it with me. So normal motion, now turn it, torque it, okay? You can even see the area below took on more pressure, right? Did you see that as I torqued? Okay, that extra knuckle joint takes on more of that motion versus here, okay? So you can see the difference in that joint on my finger, okay, when we change how the joint is functioning. Now, there's lots of science terms that takes place when this happens. There's lots of neural pathways that are going to be stimulated in a negative way to make it so that our body doesn't function as well. But anytime we have these disturbances in how our joint is moving, we're disturbing the information coming in, and we're then disturbing the information that would have the response. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to make sure that the information that my brain is getting from my environment is going to be doing good things for this heart of mine instead of bad things, because I have no intentions of leaving this earth anytime soon. Okay, so just things to keep in mind. There are, besides going to a chiropractor and getting these the motion back into the joint as necessary, there's 3 categories, okay, that affect it: physical, chemical, and emotional. I've talked about those in other videos. Certain things that we can do for ourselves, but if we don't get rid of that underlying torque and tension, I can give this joint all the nutrients that I want. Yeah, that's going to help other areas of my body, but is it going to help with this one? Is this going to work itself out? Maybe. Or the area below or the area above is just going to take on more work, and we're going to feel like we're back to normal. Most of the time, if we don't have some sort of intervention, we're just collecting more and more and more of these areas that aren't functioning. Slowly, over time, we don't even notice it until we get a bigger warning sign, okay, of pain somewhere. All of these things accumulate over time. They can even be caused by just things like our tension in our nervous system. Have you ever sat in your car on a snowy day, because I live in Green Bay, Wisconsin, okay, so on a snowy day, and you're not so sure as you're approaching that stoplight if you're going to stop in time, and there's a car in front of you, or there's an intersection waiting for you with oncoming traffic, and you white knuckle it, and you can even imagine this is what we're doing. So our emotional response to that situation puts us in a different posture, stimulates our adrenal glands, okay, for our flight or fight response. We're squeezing and white knuckling it, okay, all because we're worried we're not going to stop, okay? After that, it takes us a little bit to calm that body down. If we don't calm that body down, and we have all these little things that keep creeping up every single day that keep us in this agitated state, do you think that that would affect us negatively or positively? Negatively. It's going to continue to affect us negatively. It's going to progress. It's not going to cease. It will be relentless. And it can cause devastating results to our organs and how our body functions. Okay, not only how we're functioning from a movement standpoint or our goals. If we like gardening, we want to play with our kids, our grandkids. We want to, coach our kids in, baseball or basketball or, football, whatever it is. Football, right? Because we're Green Bay. Whatever it is that we're trying for, all of those things are going to add up. So, very important for us to stop and take a look back at where our body might not be functioning as well as it should, and then how we go about correcting it. One of the best ways that I know, the best starting places in all of this is at a wellness chiropractic office. Okay? It's going to give the solid foundation for health and well-being, as well as educate people on how to decrease some of the stress that's in their life in that physical, chemical, and emotional category. I hope you learned something today. My name is Dr. Erin Denil with Rejuvenate Life Chiropractic, and I hope you have a fabulous day.